What's up, everybody? This is Josh here with Basement Level Magic. If you guys checked out my mail time number 2, you will know that I was discussing trying to find a series where we do a no Jace standard deck text and try to play some games with it. And it just so happens that yesterday was Grand Prix Indianapolis, and in the top 8 we had Bant Hardened Scales. This was guided by David Phelps, and we're gonna go ahead and look through this deck, and I'm gonna try to play a few games with it. It looks like a lot of fun. I know I was really into Hardened Scales going into Battle for Zendikar. The lands kind of changed it up a little bit from what I think everybody thought the metagame was going to look like. But Hardened Scales looks great right now. So let's just jump into the deck tech, and we'll probably do a few more of these as the weeks go on. If you're like me, you don't really want to spend the $65 that Jace is going for online right now. I've got my copies on paper, but I am not willing to do it online. That's just too much for this guy. So we'll start with the lands. We've got 12 fetch lands, 4 Wooded Foothills, 4 Windswept Heath, 4 Flooded Strand. Very simple right there. We've got 4 forests. Actually, no, 6 forests. I've just got different artwork. Which I would never do on paper, but I only have 4 of the unhinged lands. And also 1 plains, 6 forests, 2 canopy vistas, and 1 prairie stream. Now, what this deck does differently than some of the decks that you've seen in the past with Hardened Scales is it plays 4 Stubborn Denial, which actually gets turned on quite frequently with all the 1/1 counters that you put on your creatures. All these cards can get very big. Hardened Scales, that's the heart of the deck. You want to have Hardened Scales on turn 1. If you do, you're going to have a really good shot at winning. I actually took out, he was playing 4 Servant of the Scale. I actually took 1 Servant of the Scale out in favor of a Undergrowth Champion, which he was not playing. I feel like if you're going to go for some kind of counters deck, Undergrowth Champion seems way too good to miss out on. I could definitely see moving that up to 2, but I don't want to change too much of his deck just yet without knowing how it plays out. Now, Dromoka's Command, we've got 4 of that, as well as 4 of Avatar the Resolute, which that card gets bonkers if you haven't played with it in this style of deck. It can easily come into play as a 6/5, a 7/6. It's crazy. It's got reach, it's got trample. It's very good for 2 mana. Den Protector, this is a card that people weren't playing in their Hardened Scales decks before, but it's able to just give you a bit more long game. It does pick up that 1/1 counter with Megamorph as well. Then we've got 2 Valorous Stances, just keep our guys alive or to get rid of 1 creature of our opponents. 2 Feet of Resistance. Like I said, I put in the 1 Undergrowth Champion, which I think can just get insanely big in this deck. 4 Managorger Hydras, which that card is just bonkers. If you haven't played with it, it's nuts. In Origins Limited, if no one took care of it, or if no one killed it, it just took over the game. The fact that it has trample is the key. That's kind of the tough thing that you've had lately with green decks is a lot of the cards did not have trample, so people could just stop you in your tracks, which a card like Abzan Falconer actually really helped with, though. Abzan Falconer giving all your 1/1 counter creatures flying is insane. And then, of course, 4 Hangerback Walkers. That's the main deck. In the sideboard, you've got 1 Erase, 2 Erishin Clerics, 1 Feat of Resistance, 2 Hidden Dragon Slayers, 4 Surge of Righteousness for all those, red-green decks, the red-green landfall, which I'm actually going to I'm going to show you guys that later in this week. 1 Display of Dominance, and 2 Evolutionary Leaps, 1 Winds of Calcisma, and 1 Inspiring Call. Now, I have not played this deck a ton. I'm not quite sure how he sideboarded, but we're going to give it a go, and hopefully you guys enjoy this. If you guys like these no Jace standard deck techs and games, let us know below. If there's some special decks you want us to try out, let me know. We'll try to do it. We've got almost all the cards except for that darn Jace. Alright, this is Josh with Basement Level Magic. Go ahead and check out the games. Later.